I don't know how many of you can recognize this location in the background, but this is the same spot where we shot the Pikes Peak video with Saga. Bright sun hitting on my face and not enjoying that part. But what I enjoyed though is this lovely motorcycle, man. Initially, when I saw the design, I thought this is going to be a niche motorcycle for a certain section of people. But once I started riding, especially in these ghats, being a weekday, the roads are mostly free. I enjoyed this. The mid-range and the top end was beautiful. Except for a few bits like the Scorpion Rally STR tires, the tube rims, and also the overall proportions and ergonomics. I think this is a lovely package. The engine and the gearbox is one of the best I experienced. I mean, 47 horsepower, and the way it pulls through the rev band is just amazing. And the brakes are quite sharp. On a whole, the design is very subjective, but the performance, the braking, and the overall feel that you get with this motorcycle in twisties like this makes it a lovely motorcycle for the weekends and the city commutes. In fact, I didn't even push the limit in terms of suspension adjustments. I've kept the rebound and compression at the most hardest of the settings. If I go a little softer, I think this suspension will be really plush in the bumpy sections that we accompany in our city roads. Only thing I would probably do if this is my bike is immediately get the Svartpilen rims on this and change the tires to something like a Rosso 4 or something, or even the Michelin Road 5 or Road 6, and you're gonna have so much fun on this. Compared to the Duke, this is a much more livable, softer, smoother motorcycle. It's less aggressive than the Duke, and I think this would appeal to a lot more riders if they can get over that design, because it's a very polarizing design. Some will like it, some might not. Chalo, before the sun burns me down, let me head back, enjoy the ghats a bit more, and we'll see you back in Hyderabad.
As you can see, I'm back in Hyderabad in the familiar traffic. As they say, when life gives you lemons, you need to make a lemonade. But I'm making a lime-flavored Italian gelato. Because while I was in Pune doing the Husqvarna shoot, my GoPro died. I still am not sure if this is recording audio. There is no feedback about the audio when you're doing a moto vlog. There's just too many connectors. Anyway, I thought, why can't I still give you a moto vlog about my first-ride impressions of the Husqvarna Svartpilen 401 while being on a breakfast ride on the Republic Day. Because you might miss the sound and the layout, but my insights will still stay the same. So instead of me staying at home, sitting in a chair with a nice white background talking about the Svartpilen, I thought, let me give you guys a better visual. I've covered most of the details in the first part of the video, and to be honest, that's more than enough for a first ride impressions. But while coming back here, I learned few more details about the motorcycle. So let's talk about the product placement in terms of where the Svartpilen 401 lies in the huge number of 400cc bikes that we have right now. I think it's the hardest segment. It's the new 250, as the team from Husqvarna would say. And it's true, there is a genuine interest in 400cc motorcycles, because I think that's a perfect entry level capacity to get into the big bikes, and people who have a 250 or a 200 would like to upgrade. So at one end we have the classic 350, which appeals to a lot of people who wants to have a chill ride in the city, and the other end you have the Duke 390 and the RC 390, the Roadster and the fared version of it. Those two appeal to the sporty younger crowd who wants the most fun possible. In between those two bikes you get a plethora of options, like the Speed 400. It's like that retro classic roadster. You get the Scrambler 400X, which is a soft-roader, and then you have the Himalayan 450, which is a bit more lenient towards adventure, touring and off-roading, much more capable off-road than the Scrambler 400X. And then now you have the Svartpilen 401. This is a mild soft roader. Like on a highway, if you get off-road, this can happily handle it. But would I prefer a Svartpilen 401 towards a Svartpilen 401? I don't know. I think they should have given both the options. But because they already have the Duke 390 here in the market, which is selling decently well, I think it made them differentiate that product. From Bajaj's perspective, it made sense, but from a customer point of view, the only reason someone would pick this over a Duke 390 is the design. But those tube rims might be a deal breaker for a lot of people. Like, tube rims are meant purely for off-road bikes. I think that's something manufacturers need to get over it. To be practical, 80% of our rides are in the city, even though we would use the 20% for a lot more distance for touring. In terms of time, most of the consumers, 80% of the time is spent in the city. So in that regard, the Svartpilen positioning is slightly weird. If you are buying that motorcycle, my suggestion is get the Whitpilen 250 rims and tires. You'll be sorted. They might not cost more than 10,000. It's cheaper than making those tube tire rims tubeless, because that cost is roughly around 15,000 if you're getting Outex. The only thing that you need to be little cautious about is that the wheel rim and the tire width is the same. It's just that the weight of the rims might be different, so the ABS calibration might be slightly off. I don't know if the service center guys would be able to do that calibration, but not a big deal, not a deal breaker. The Svartpilen 401, it's cheaper than the Duke 390 for sure, and I like that design over the Duke 390. I think it feels like a perfect retro cafe racer, cafe scrambler with those tires that I can take out over the weekends or in the city. I don't mind the tires, by the way. They are lovely, but these are H-rated tires, not W. So you might not have the same grip as the Rally S tires I had on this a while back. By the way, I'm back on the stock tires now because I'm doing more sport touring now. And yeah, as you can see, I'm standing on the pegs, and that's something you can't do on the Svartpilen 401 because the handlebar is still lower to my liking, and the overall ergonomics and size of the bike is a bit smaller. Even though they call it a scrambler, you can't stand on it easily. That's the downside of it. I wish they had gone all in and differentiated this by making it a cafe racer or something, or offered accessories which can customize that bike to the rider's liking. Make it give a bigger handlebar so that people can tour on it, like the Scrambler 800, like the big handlebars, or give them clip-ons or flat handlebars so that they can make it a proper cafe racer. That would also differentiate Husqvarna from KTM, because I don't think you get those many accessories with the KTM Duke 390. Another thing that I learned post the first ride impressions is that the wheelbase is exactly the same as the Duke 390. It is still lower though, it is lower by 6 mm or something, and the suspension travel is the same. So the engine, the gearbox, the suspension travel, the suspension mechanicals are exactly the same as the Duke 390. So you're basically getting a Duke 390 in a new pair of clothes, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And just like the quick shifter here, I love the quick shifter on the Whitpilen 401, on the Svartpilen, and the gear shifts were so smooth, like buttery smooth. The downshifts had their own mind, but they did work. And braking, dude, I loved those brakes. And in terms of fuel efficiency, I think I was getting around 25 something. That's considering that we rode aggressively. The bike was happily cruising around 100 in fourth gear. In fourth gear you can do 35, so tractability in the city is also fine. I think it would be a great tourer if it had a taller handlebar and maybe a windscreen. So Bajaj themselves, along with Triumph, have at least 4 bikes in the portfolio in the same engine capacity, appealing to different tastes. So it might be a little confusing for newbies to pick a bike, but as I always say, don't ask reviewers which one is a better choice. It's your bike, go test drive and then decide which one you want to go. That's it for the Svartpilen 401 first ride impressions. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry there was no audio about the exhaust note and the engine and the way it sounds. There are tons of videos which do that. This is just about my first ride impressions of the Svartpilen 401, and we'll have a better review once the vehicle's in the showroom. Chalo. That's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And in case it wasn't night time, have a good night and take care.